Hello everyone, my name of course is Resonant, and welcome back to another video. In this video I've got some fairly exciting news about Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. Now if any of you are part of the Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord Steam group, the official one, it's got nearly 19,000 members now. Actually I think it's got more than that, nearly 20,000 members now, which is absolutely insane. A lot of you may have seen this, but I was asked by a couple of people to do a video on this just to show more people, because it's really interesting news actually, and I think it tells us quite a bit more about the release of Bannerlord and what we're going to expect from when it comes out basically. And a couple of people asked me to do this just to summarise the main points, and so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So many of you know the community manager for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, or Tale Worlds, is Frank Elliott. Now he's a really cool guy, and he does a lot of the showing Mount & Blade to the public kind of stuff. If you've seen the streams and the gameplay and stuff like that, he's the guy that shows people around. He showed the interviewers and stuff like that around Mount & Blade in one of the streams, and basically yeah, and he did an interview the other night. And this interview was found on 4chan, and obviously I don't use 4chan, but Slovak told us about this one. And he did a bit of an interview and told us a bit more about Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord and what we can expect from it. Now, obviously we don't have too much because he can't release a lot of information, but this is what we've got so far. When will it be coming out? Obviously we don't know any exact release dates so far, but we have a better idea now. There was a bit of a problem. A lot of us thought it was going to come out late 2016, and they did say we're going to probably put it in the players' hands at some point late of this year, and they said that a couple of months back in our stream. So everyone was really hyped, thinking it's going to come out 2016, we're going to have a beta or some sort of early access gameplay that we can get our hands on at the end of 2016. Now unfortunately this isn't quite the truth anymore. They said that they're probably going to make it less likely coming out 2016, but early 2017 instead. So we've got a bit of a longer wait there. But there's going to be a multiplayer beta coming out around that time. And personally, I think it's a good idea for them pushing it back. I think, obviously we have been waiting years since it was announced 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not quite sure on the exact dates, but we have been waiting a long time. But I think me and many other people really have the mindset that if they need the time to perfect this, I really think they should go for it. They can't be scared and try and push it out too early, because people are going to get the wrong impression, especially because there's going to be a lot more people coming into this game, into the franchise, and there's going to be loads more new people, and if they see this in a bad state, if they don't see it in the state that we want to see it, people are going to get that wrong idea, and the sales for the game are going to go drastically down than what they could be if they can nail this early access / beta release. So I'm really happy that they've decided to, you know, take the risk of pushing it back. It might annoy some of the fans a bit, but all in all, it will be a better business decision for them, and it's going to make us happier in the end. We may have to wait a bit longer, but I think I'd rather wait a bit longer and be happy with the finished results than not wait too long and not really enjoy what they have brought out. Not only are they going to be releasing a multiplayer beta coming out early 2017, we hope, let's hope they don't push that back any further, but there's going to be a single player as well. Now all he said is there's going to be a single player early access version sometime after multiplayer, so I'm not completely sure how that's going to work. Preferably what I'd say is just have a multiplayer beta and then leave the single player for the full release of Mount & Blade Bannerlord. Just have it all in there. A bit like Battlefield, DICE tend to do this quite a lot, and I think it works pretty well. Since the recent Battlefield 1 beta that was released, loads of people played it, millions of people played it, and that was so popular, and now people are hyped and pumped for the full release, and that's got the full single player in it and all that good stuff, and people are really excited to see that. I think that's probably a really good thing that Mount & Blade could do, where they just have a multiplayer beta and then later on they release a single player, but I don't know which way they want to do it, but hopefully they make the right choice. If they want to release a bit of a single player early access before, that's up to them. What they might do is put it into paid early access where you have to pay and you get a bit of the single player to see what it's like. I'm not completely sure. That's probably, in my books, is not a great idea, but we'll see what they have to offer. This is obviously just me making assumptions because of the little details that we have at this current stage. Now, this will be good for many of you. in my speculations video, and in my what do we want in Bannerlord, and the most requested features videos. Actually, I've covered this quite a lot. People have said that they really want some way of customizing your troops, customizing your banners, and the way you play. And it has been confirmed that Frank Elliott has said players are able to customize their banners, and this is really cool in my idea, because Mount & Blade Warband is a sandbox game. You can go about, you can RPG and stuff like that. Being able to customize your own banners, having the banner you designed shone on the shields of your troops or held aloft as you charge into battle, just really helps bring out the RPG aspect of Mount & Blade. And I'm really excited to see that, some of the creations that people can come up with. Now, is this going to be multiplayer or single player or both? I'm pretty sure it's most likely going to be single player, definitely, and maybe multiplayer as well if they can work that in. Something else I'm really excited to see in Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord is Naval Combat. Yes, I'm not completely sure if it's been properly confirmed, but he did say that it is probable, and probable is good enough for me. That means there's some chance of Naval Combat being a Mount & Blade Bannerlord. Just imagine that, having community events where you get on your ships and you go and imagine ramming ships into each other and then boarding enemies, maybe even naval sieges, and in single player as well, taking your army across the seas to go and conquer faraway lands. He did say though that if there isn't naval combat straight away, there is likely to be naval combat later on added in. Now, we obviously know this was the case in Napoleonic Wars. At the start, we didn't have any naval combat. Napoleonic Wars just land kind of stuff. And then I think it was 1 or 2 years later, after the release of Napoleonic Wars, they released an update which added in ships, massive ships that you fire cannons from and stuff, and which is absolutely epic. And it looks like they're kind of going the same thing, same way for native. So either they're going to add it in straight away, and if they can't do that, then they'll add it in later on. I think this is a really good way to do it, because it means they're not rushing something. If they can't do it, they're not going to rush it out. They're going to wait and release it later on in an update. So another little gameplay mechanic they are adding in is board games, which we did see in some of the gameplay videos. I think we saw in the very first gameplay video, we saw board games, which people were a bit skeptical about. It was like, we don't want to see board games at this moment. We want to see real battles and real sieges and stuff like that. But it was cool nonetheless that they are adding that into Mount & Blade. And it's been confirmed that this affects your relations with other people. So, just going off a hunch, what I'm thinking is, let's say you win a board game against another noble, you win loads of money off them. They're not going to be best pleased with you. That might be something that's added in. But we'll see how it affects relationships in the game and just what way. And so far, there's not going to be board games in multiplayer, but I'm not sure too many people are going to be too upset about that. I think you've got better things to do in Mount & Blade than passing pieces from one side of a table to the other. I think hacking and slashing is more what the fans want to see at this stage in time. Something that I'm a bit skeptical about. I'm quite interested to see as well. This kind of makes me a bit curious. They said picking up and keeping weapons on the battlefield will not be implemented. Why wouldn't it be implemented? What problems would it cause? Because then he just say it's for good reasons. And that kind of strikes something. What are the reasons? Why would they take out keeping and picking up items on the battlefield? Is it to reduce lag if they're having larger amounts of people? That could be a really big thing. Because let's say if you have hundreds and hundreds of people, because we had 200 players on the server before, and I think they're going to up that, maybe even double it to 400 players on the server. And if they're doing that, then having people dropping weapons or they die, that's just going to increase lag a massive amount. So maybe that's going to take out picking up and keeping weapons on the battlefield. I'm not completely sure. That's just my guess. That's the only thing I can really think of at the moment. If you guys have any suggestions of why they're removing that, because it does say for good reasons, leave it down in the comments, and I'd like to see what your thoughts are. They are trying to find a good solution for that, because he does say it would be great to have that, but then they're taking it out. So maybe it is for lag issues and things like that. So they're trying to find a good solution for that. But remember, leave your comments down below. I want to see your thoughts of why you think they're taking that out. Something quite interesting that he has said is that we have seen in some of the streams the ability to craft weapons. You could have your swords or your pikes and things like that, and you could craft them to how exactly you want them. You could have them very balanced and quick and fast doing less damage, but they're able to get around the enemies with quick and swift maneuvers. Or you could have them big, heavy, lumbering things that do tons of damage when they smash down, but they take a lot to heft up. Now, that was a really cool point that a lot of people wanted in Mount and Blade Bannerlord, and it has been confirmed that that will be in it. But they said in the interview that crafting is limited to melee weapons at the moment. Now, it was said that he did say for now, so hopefully we can see some cool bows and crossbows and stuff like that. Maybe even siege weaponry. How cool would that be? You can design your own siege weaponry, what kind of projectiles you're shooting, that kind of cool stuff. But for now, we've just got melee weapons, so that is something quite interesting they said. I thought I might add that in. It's a little small point, but it's something worth adding at the moment if you guys are expecting massive bows with engravings on them, some like Legolas type bows that you're able to craft. Now, that's not going to be in it just at the moment, but that might be added in later on, so I guess we're just going to have to see. And finally, we have the console release. Now, many of you will remember I made a video about Mount and Blade Bannerlord for consoles quite a long time ago, I'd say like 2 or 3 months ago. And I'm going to do a quick update video on that at some point, because there's some really interesting comments of your thoughts on that. But briefly, you guys were half against it and half for it. Frank Elliott did talk a bit about consoles in this interview, so I'm just going to relay that over to you and see what your thoughts are. So, he said, Bannerlord is exclusively PC focused right now. Consoles are in the back of our minds, but I don't think anyone at the company really wants to compromise the experience we offer on PC, which is our main platform and market. Now that's a really interesting thing to hear, because when I was making that Bannerlord video, I think I said in the video, if I didn't, I'm going to say it now, my thoughts were, I don't care if we have a console version, as long as it doesn't affect the PC release. And a couple of other people said that in the comments as well, and that was quite a good thing to hear, because I really don't think having a console as well as PC is a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing, because it raises more awareness for other people that play on console and not PC. But the main thing is that it does not affect the PC release, because Mount and Blade Warband on Bannerlord and the series in general, it's a very PC orientated game. Obviously, Warband has now been released for console, but people still play it on PC mainly with all the mods and all that kind of good stuff, and the massive player counts and the massive battles and the events and team speaks and stuff like that, and all the community. So Bannerlord is going to be mainly PC focused, and I'm really happy they're doing that. Hopefully they can get everything done for PC, then get it all polished, everything, and have maybe a smaller group working on console once everything's done, basically. Once they've got Mount and Blade in a really good place, a really solid standing ground where they can add updates whenever they want with a team, then I think they should start focusing on console, because obviously we want more people to experience Mount and Blade, the console players to experience it, because not everyone can afford a really good PC that can run it, and some people just refuse to get a PC. So I really want people to be able to experience that just want to play on consoles, but I think because Mount and Blade franchise is such a PC orientated thing, that they should really focus on PC first, which is what it looks like they're doing. So I'm very happy for them to do that. Now, so what are your thoughts on the things that I've told you? But other than that, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave a like. You know what to do if you didn't. But stay subscribed to the channel for more content on Mount and Blade Bannerlord and Warband and all that good stuff. But until then, I will see you in the next one.